Welcome back to another episode of It's All Been Trekked Before. This time, bread and circuses. Yes, they put them back together again, just like chocolate and peanut butter. Some other things put back together that you can dig. The Quarterly Book Club. They're reading books. They're getting together. They're discussing them. You can get caught up. You can go back. Books, you can read them anytime. That's my understanding. They don't go bad. Most of them. So anyway, go out. Check out what those guys are doing. Check them out. Quarterly Book Club. Also, Patreon.com/IABD. Go there. You can help support us. You support us. We throw more at you, more content. You get to hear more of the stuff you love from us, and we all get warm, fuzzy feelings. Also, want some warm, fuzzy feelings? Go to Mad Lab this weekend, final weekend of At the Speed of Jake. It's a co-production between OGP and Mad Lab. Get your tickets at madlab.net. And right now, get your fill of bread and circuses on It's All Been Trekked Before.
Welcome out to another episode of It's All Been Trekked Before. This week, bread and circuses, the penultimate episode of season. First impressions. We didn't do first impressions last time.
We did.
Impressions of this one.
It's never been one of my favorites.
No.
But now it is.
And it still is not.
No, but it's not one of my least favorites either.
I don't know. I don't despise
Very
it.
middle of the road.
Yeah, I don't have fond, warm feelings for it, but I don't. There, the many times aforementioned season 3, there will be many moments that I hate much more. Yes.
Well, it may be the penultimate episode, but it's no ultimate computers.
Yeah, well, but it is not.
Yeah, we run once again into the thing where it's exactly like Earth. They speak English, they had Romans, language, route points, all
And once again, they're amazed that this happened. It's like, this just happened.
Well, here's the thing about that. I was actually making.
Did you write down what it was called?
The Hodgkins?
Yes. That's the Hodgkins law of parallel planet development. As far as I know, that's the first time they've actually mentioned that.
I think so.
I actually appreciated that they went went right into it, went headlong, attacked it directly, and said this is actually a scientific thing that actually happens. Whereas the other ones, where I was just like, what? This can't. What?
Yeah.
You know, I don't mind it as much if they actually try to make an attempt to make it seem reasonable, rather than just because I don't know what it is. I mean, I'll accept, if someone says there's like a parallel universe or something like that happening, or there's some other reason that could. But I mean, now of course this begs the question: what is this effect? Or I mean, what is this law? Let's hear the details of it or something. Do they have an explanation within it? But at least they give you something that says that they studied it.
There is an explanation on Memory Alpha of what the law is. Now, it is all fictional, futuristic. Hodgkin's not a real person.
I'll take it.
A.E. Hodgkin was a noted biologist, most famous for his creation of Hodgkin's law of parallel planetary development. He first visited the planet Loricus Prime as part of a science survey mission. As he noted in his log, the native termite life of Loricus was remarkably similar to that of Earth, Vulcan, and several other Class M worlds. He initially considered the possibility that the termites were brought there by early space travelers, or that they were a meteorite-born species, but he quickly realized that their location in the middle of a radiation belt ruled out either possibility. So after carefully studying the DNA, he confirmed they were native, and over the next decade and a half, he puzzled out the theory of parallel plane development that would rock the biological world as profoundly as Charles Darwin's had earlier. And this was all explained in an episode of Enterprise.
Oh.
Interesting. All right. I mean,
so more retconning in 4 spin-offs down the road.
That's pretty good.
His full name was Albert Elias Hodgkin. Yeah, I think it's a stupid law. I think there's no way it's real. And even if the termites had similar DNA, like different similar animal forms developed, that does not explain how language, the names of people, all of it were exactly the same.
Right.
I mean, it's similar to my issue with in the Mirror Universe that they've been at war forever, and yet all the same people are in the same spots, except worse.
Oh God! Well, yeah, right.
I mean, all it would take one ancestor to be killed differently 200 years ago, and Kirk would never even exist, let alone be captain of the Enterprise. I'm just saying.
All right, so this is sort of like my thing with the way that they do space battles and so forth. One of those things that you grow up and like every sci-fi show does this thing, every superhero thing, every property does this thing where they have a parallel universe. And they have the same names, same jobs almost, or maybe they're just like a slightly evil version of the same person. doing the
Goatees.
exact same thing, and just kind of it defies probability, but you kind of accept it for whatever reason, or at least I'm not saying you should, but I'm saying I've been indoctrinated with it so long that it never really.
I mean, I
couldn't
couldn't resist playing with that a little bit of Universe Journey, but I made sure there were significant differences between the universes and where people were and stuff, because it bothers me how closely things align.
But they were still on the ship, which is in itself.
They were still on the same ship, but it had totally more than half the crew was different, and different people. So
I'm glad you guys have brought it back around to the Mandela effect.
It just bothers the hell out of me, is what I'm saying. And I think it's stupid.
The Mandela effect I was referring to before was the thing where people were supposed to, they misremember things, and they would swear collectively like...
Right, Stephen knew that. He was just misremembering what the Mandela effect
Right,
was.
well, the idea is that, the idea that they've come up with, or at least one of the theories is, both those things happen, but those guys are in a different universe. The rest of the universes have merged with that part.
You need to watch that episode. I swear to God. The X-Files episode I was talking about.
Oh, yeah.
If man, because I don't want to say too much. Just little jokes that Jabs are doing at that. But yes, that.
So somehow they're in ancient Rome, which is except 20th century.
In the 20th century,
ancient Rome. Rome never fell. It has evolved to the 20th century.
Another parallel, and I know Hodgkins didn't come up with this rule.
How do you know that, though?
Maybe he did. Perhaps this might be one of his other rules. All alien worlds they land on look like Southern California.
Well, obviously.
whenever
cave.
Whenever they're on on location,
God.
It's obvious. Of course,
that's the cave where the woman gave birth.
Right, yeah. And I wish they'd done more. They did like a real far away shot where they zoomed in but pulled back. It looked really cool.
I think it's interesting that even though clearly Rome has spread, and so there was no United States of America because it's all under Roman rule, there was still a Massachusetts Institute of Technology.
Well, that's...
or whatever it was.
Well, Massachusetts meant something else there.
Well,
This is
the
coincidence.
U was a V, so...
and again, it's another world where, even on Earth, the Roman Empire only spread so far. But there, it's spread
everywhere.
The entire planet.
Well, because the whole planet's homogeneous.
Well,
of course.
And why would they name it?
God, right, that thing again.
That's also dumb.
But they weren't in Rome, right?
No, because they were in Massachusetts.
Which doesn't make sense that they're called Romans.
Well, Rome rules the whole planet, so they're all Romans.
This doesn't make any sense.
Friends, Romans, Massachusettsians.
All right, well, the Holy Roman...
Let me hear here.
The Holy Roman Empire would have spread over many territories, and even though those...
That's true.
That's
true. That's true.
Which leads us to the sun. My least favorite part of the entire episode.
It briefly occurred to me that's a funny little joke, in my head, like at the very beginning, the idea of it being sun.
I had forgotten about that ending.
It just completely slipped my mind until they did that. I was like, what?
Well,
that's a thing?
I don't know. My biggest problem is the way they did it, because it comes off as like they're talking about like this is a thing we buy into.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That
they're all Christian, and that's the accepted single one religion that everybody should believe in. Everybody should believe in.
But
which is such bullcrap.
The idea that Kurt throws out, which is, wouldn't it be cool to see it happen again in this other world? But the way he says it is just
like, oh my God, I worship him, so I want to see him.
Right.
It's
which
like,
there's no way that any of them are Christian.
Well, right.
They're not.
Well, it's like the same.
What about Chris? A lot of us.
It's like the same.
Nurse Chapel. She's Christian.
Christine
right?
Chapel.
Yeah. See, that's pretty close.
She's Christian.
See, I heard it as Christian.
Wow.
Christian Chapel. No, I don't. I mean, I feel like Kirk is probably agnostic the way he talks about God in a very ambiguous sense. And I feel like McCoy and some of the others are as well. I've never heard any of them talk directly about Jesus Christ or anything.
Well, and I thought, and I forgot the end of the episode, so I wrote down that, there's some basis that most religions started from worship of the sun. And
for sure.
And even a lot of the religions that are still around, they had their roots in there, and they're related to that in some way. It's still some form of sun worship.
That's probably how Christianity stole it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
A lot of the basic, especially the stories, come from that. Are very sun based.
Well, the thing that you were saying before about the way that it probably rubbed you the wrong way, the look on his face and everything, it's like the episode that I was thinking before, the Omega one. They mishandled the same type of
Yes,
concept.
yes.
And it came off really awkward and jingoistic,
Yes,
which is the same
that's a
kind of thing.
perfect
It's
Except
like
this
yeah.
time they only spent 10 seconds on it instead of 15
Right,
minutes.
right.
But he still hit that camera like, oh, Jesus Christ, I would love to see that. You know,
Yeah,
that
like
whole kind of
yeah,
reverence.
exactly.
of,
Like they could have gone a different if they have Ahura give it as like, no, they're talking about Son of God, you idiots, not the Son. Now it goes to totally. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, well, and then whatever, they laugh and
yeah.
the starship hasn't been destroyed, and they move on and they warp out of orbit. But yeah, and the way it was played though was just like, what? I mean, by that logic, is this part of Hodgkin's law? Does that mean there would also be a Jesus or Savior on that planet? Is that what they were positing?
Yes.
Okay.
There was
Or
another
something.
Jesus.
That part
And
of
they
it is
mentioned there was
interesting.
another Julius Caesar, there was another Augustus Caesar.
You're right.
Oh, I didn't
Like
catch that.
they
I mean, that-
mentioned- yeah.
That concept is interesting. It just tacking it on at the end is just Little
Similarly,
lazy.
at the end, we just mentioned the starship. Oh, Flavius is dead? Yeah, Flavius is dead.
They said,
That's a shame.
sorry.
Yeah, they're
sorry about your
like, oh, Kirk, what about Flavius? Yeah, Flavius died. You mentioned Flavius died, and Kirk's like, yeah, Flavius is dead.
wow.
Do they have to kill him off?
No, because it meant nothing at that point.
Because again, it wasn't
And then
a
they're
moment.
like,
It's
oh, too bad, he seemed cool.
yeah, that's essentially the way it happened.
Oh my God.
Flavius,
This would be
played by Rhodes Reason.
yes.
Yeah.
This would be a good
Great.
transition for Fashion Beat, I think.
Fashion.
Yeah,
There's a lot of that.
he was the only one wearing the shorts.
I
on the
enjoy.
planet.
As a fan of '70s short shorts, I appreciated his short.
But they were
shorts.
like, it was like they were cut off or something. Like they were
Yeah.
ripped,
They were like
ripped.
cut off sweats.
Yeah, ripped
Sweats.
from everyone else had like full length.
Yeah, you're right.
They even found full length pants for the crew of the Enterprise.
Right.
So they must have had spare or something, right?
Yeah,
But,
because the idea wasn't that. Was the idea they were trying to show was that at some point they just got ripped?
Yeah, they were
I
cut
guess.
off shorts.
Okay.
Flavius was wearing. They looked very clearly like the pants that had been like scissored.
Well, yeah, but
but why is the thing? Why
Right.
would he do that?
He was
I mean,
hot.
it was to show off his
He
legs.
prefers short. I prefer shorts. I would cut off
I'm
my-
somebody I don't like the long shorts. I have short legs. I wear long shorts. My legs are even shorter. So I like the short shorts. I'm a 70s 80s guy.
Real quick, before we get back to fashion, I just want to interject because Keith and I were curious if this was real. Rhodes Reason is his actual name.
Yeah.
He is the son of Gene and Rex G. Reason and the younger brother of Rex Reason.
Wait, you mean
Actor X.
like the sun in the sky of them? I don't understand.
Oh!
Doesn't
No.
make any sense.
Football.
So Reason is their family name.
Oh, maybe I'm thinking of Gary Reasons. I was gonna say, was
Doesn't
Rhodes
say
Reason a
anything
football
here
player?
about football.
All right.
But yeah, his dad and his older brother were both named Rex Reason. So, yes, that was his real name, as cool a stage name or acting name as that is. So yeah, back to fashion. What'd you think of Merrick's smock?
What
thing?
was that? I didn't understand anything anybody was wearing. I mean, other than the gladiators or whatever.
Yeah.
Even our girl.
Well, the
Drusilla.
slave T-shirts had the 3 chain links.
Actually, I take it back. I did like that.
That was kinda cool.
That just was like, oh, we're slaves because you have chain on your. You're not wearing physical chains; they're just on your T-shirt.
If Homage made that T-shirt, I would buy it.
Yeah, I liked it.
Homage, if anyone's listening, make that T-shirt and I will buy it.
What did you think of the impetus, the beginning, the origins of where Princess Leia's slave bikini came from? Because clearly they ripped off this episode.
Yeah, it was like
it was a one piece sort of.
It was, but it was close enough with
it
the
was-
chains and the gold. I
it
think
was
Leia
like
ripped
golden
it off.
wrapping paper for Christmas with a chain attached to it.
Yeah. No, it was. But I think Leia ripped it off. That's all I'm saying.
Who wore it better?
Carrie Fisher.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
And I think
Sorry, what's her name? Drusilla Lois Jewell.
think
Lois Jewell.
she only had one more acting credit after this, and then she was like, "I'm out."
Lois Jewell.
if I'm not mistaken.
She only. No, this was her second and final.
Oh, okay, yeah.
She was in The Flying Nun before this.
Oh, okay, yeah. She did this. She's like, "All right, I've had enough. I'm out."
She got to use the outfit for both shows, and then she was
Yeah,
done.
so
She died in 2014, so.
yeah. I actually enjoyed her seducing Kirk. That was actually a fun part of the episode. He wasn't doing the seducing.
What's his face? Claudius Marcus was like, I wanted you to have some last hours as a man.
Yeah.
That was so weird.
He was
His
a weird
theme about
dude
the-
altogether.
yeah,
The
the
pro
whole
console
thing
was
later.
very weird.
This
So-
is man to man. This is what men do. This is men talking. You
Yeah,
can appreciate this.
It's a very
Nice young men
homoerotic
die.
episode.
Logan Ramsey. Yeah, we'll get to that in a second. But while we're still talking about Claudius Marcus, he kind of reminded me as a Romulan, which of course the Romulans were kind of based on the Romans.
Well, when he walked in, I thought his ears are they pointed? They weren't. But
I had to look twice to see if
too.
he was the Romulan aide from Balance of Terror.
Oh
with
yeah,
Sarek,
yeah.
or Mark Leonard, but he's not.
That reminds me of something I wrote about the Spock thing. Like every time they make such a big fuss about hiding his ears and having them revealed and so forth, I don't understand why people don't assume it's like a costume or something. They always oh my god, what's going on? What's wrong with your ears?
They didn't have such good prosthetics back then.
Well, and that's raised another good question: is they're immediately like, I have to take that hat off. Like,
Yeah,
who does that?
that too.
Is that was that a tenet of Roman and Nazi and gangsters that like, I don't trust this guy. He's wearing a hat. It's got to come off.
And there's got to be something they can do if they're going to keep putting him on landing parties to hide
Yeah.
better. And not to mention, again, they beam down in full uniform, even though they're like, we can't let anyone know what we're doing here, but we're not going to put on native clothes.
I don't
Well,
understand.
just make him grow his hair out or something. It's like right
that
down to
works.
there.
That's a good idea there.
You would think.
Yeah, I don't understand why they just don't go with the rice picker. Got his head cut in a rice picker.
I mean,
store.
that's obviously,
that's
that's obviously the explanation for any...
because if they're on all these Earth parallel planets, it should work on all of them.
Right?
Man.
Okay, so let's get back to where... Wait, we haven't finished fashion yet, right?
I think I had everything.
we got the Drusilla, right?
Okay.
So
Drusilla, yeah.
Okay, we're good with
I think
that?
So, yeah.
Now let's get back to your homoerotica.
Oh, just, there was that.
Spock and McCoy.
Yeah.
Wow, that was just...
I mean, the eyes, the music. God, they were so close to making out in that cell.
Yeah, what else would that scene be about?
Don't you know what
It's just
feelings
so
are
weird.
for?
It's just like, McCoy, he is, like, Spock's literally like, I am trying to get us out of here. I want to talk. I don't.
So McCoy's the woman in the
Yeah.
relationship.
I
That was
get
sexist.
us.
I take it back. I take it back. I'm sorry.
I want to, and he's
Editors,
just like,
please.
No, I just take it back. I apologize.
yeah, or he's the colleague, or he's the me in the relationship.
Yeah.
It's just
That's,
like,
it would be
yeah,
me as
yeah,
well.
exactly,
So I don't know why I said woman.
Colleen would be like, what are you talking
Not
about?
me.
But yeah, it was. It was such a, just to me, a lot of the, as much as fun as some of the Spock McCoy stuff is, some of it's just so forced. I feel like that seems a little forced.
The earlier scene with them where they're insulting each other.
That was fun.
Kirk
That's
and
fun.
Flavius were talking like, what's going on with them? Yeah, they don't even know. I
That's
like
funny.
that. I like that a lot.
And when McCoy's not getting into the hobgoblin and the pointy-eared stuff, it's more interesting.
I'm getting tired of the hobgoblin.
Oh, it's
Although I did like the
He said
ribbing at the
hobgoblin?
beginning where they're
hobgoblin.
like hobgoblin.
No, but he said that before this episode?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did like the little thing at the beginning where like I just once want to come down and be like I'm the Angel Gabriel.
That was funny.
that was good.
Now, of course they had to make it racist against Spock, but
Sure. Or they think you were the
There's
devil.
pieces.
Yeah, because, well, as you
beat
guys
down with
know,
a pitchfork.
just like male-female as a gender thing is universal, anyone with pointy ears is evil. That's
Right.
that's
Unless they're elves.
universal. Yeah.
So
Why would they think that?
Claudius,
It doesn't make any sense.
Claudius Marcus was definitely a slimy little evil bastard politician,
Yeah.
but Merrick was not evil. He was just a little bitch.
Yeah, that's good to, because like, well, I had no choice. And
that's why I love the Claudius Marcus being like, Kirk's a real man. You need to leave because a man is going to talk to a man now.
Well, and they set it up
Oh,
I
that's so
know, it was
hardcore.
great.
right from the beginning because Spock, for some reason, knows that Kirk knows Merrick, and he's like, "Yeah, I went to school with him. 5th year, you have to drop out." He like drops it down. Yeah.
Alas, poor Merrick. I knew him.
And again, very small galaxy. Kirk knows everybody.
And Starfleet Academy's only a 4-year program, so if he had dropped on the 5th year, he was
yeah.
already in trouble.
And it made me think of when I was in law school, the people that didn't make it through first year.
But I was glad that he was a Starfleet dropout instead of a Starfleet captain.
Oh.
Right.
Because we have seen
So many.
other issues of captains where you're like, Captain wouldn't do that. Oh, but he's not.
I didn't catch it. How did he get there then?
He was on a spaceship, not a starship.
Right.
Oh,
it was like
so that's
in
what
the
he meant.
private
Okay.
industry. They weren't
Wow.
on Starfleet.
That
So,
makes so much more sense
It
from what he
does.
was saying.
It does.
So it makes sense that he was like, "Oh, I'll still want to do a spaceship," but
It makes
it's
sense.
also
that,
called the SS Beagle.
and it makes sense that he's like
he was on the SS German Shepherd.
Sure.
It was a Beagle.
Reference to Enterprise again because he had a Beagle on the Enterprise.
Maybe.
I thought it was, isn't that Darwin's ship though?
Yes.
So maybe that was the.
That was probably a reference because we were talking about Hodgkins and Darwin.
Yeah. Oh my God. Oh, that's nice.
That makes sense.
But yeah, I could totally see Merrick being like, "Yeah, you're gonna kill me unless I hand over my whole crew. I'm handing over my whole crew. So, of course, Claudius is like, you're going to do the same thing, right, Kirk?
Right.
You're a little jerk, too.
Well,
You're a little wimp. And then Kirk's like, nah, dude. He's like, oh, no, I like you.
Oh, man, you're a man.
Yeah.
No, I know what a man is.
Well, he said you're a Roman. Like,
well, and Kirk keeps looking at him like, yeah, I know I'm a man. And it's like the proconsul, whatever his name is, was like,
Claudius Marcus.
I think he might be willing to swing this way. And Kirk's like, I don't even know what way you want me to swing. Well, I don't even know what you're doing. And he's like, isn't it obvious the signs I'm going off?
Yeah.
You're giving them back to me. No, I have no idea what you're talking about.
My
There's no relationship here.
My alternate episode was Drusilla like gets them all horned up and ready, and then she backs off, and Claudius comes in. He's like, "This is what we do in Rome. This is what we do in Rome. We sleep with men."
Well, that's a fair question because I was going to bring up that he wakes up and he's fully clothed.
Yeah,
and it seems like I think he got drugged, so that's perfectly possible.
Well, they certainly didn't act like he got drugged. They act like he had a great afternoon and then fell
right,
asleep.
but he didn't. Well, I guess he didn't have to reference it, but I don't know how he would.
He puts his clothes back on after the sex.
I don't want anything to think of it.
It's network TV.
They did a lantern wipe.
Right.
Yeah, so
I feel like she probably gave him a blowy and then left, and he fell asleep.
It could be.
And then, but halfway through the blowy, when his eyes were closed, Claudius came in and switched your places. That's the alternate episode.
Jesus Christ.
Which would have been totally acceptable culturally for the Romans.
Well, as it is now, actually, in a way.
Well, yeah, but it took 2,000 years in between where it wasn't.
Right. That's what Kirk was really waiting to see when he's up in the ship. Wouldn't it be fun if we see this all happen again? I can't wait when it gets there.
Oh, man.
And I just thought, I didn't get why they were so hell-bent on Kirk. You got to get your whole ship to come down. And then the arguments...
Yeah, they didn't want the ship. They just wanted
the people
to
to
come down.
For what?
I guess
Yeah, 'cause they were like, well,
more entertainment, I guess.
I guess, but...
No, but they don't need them. And you're right. There was no good reason.
There wasn't a
Because like your
compelling
people
reason.
aren't even good fighters. This isn't good entertainment.
Right. And so there was that, and then he kept playing the prime directive, but like both ways. He's like, I want all your people down here. That's going to violate it, more or less. But I know you can't. It's like, okay, we know what the prime directive is.
His argument as outlined was, well, if you guys leave, then you're going to tell people about us, and they're going to come and interfere.
Right.
Which, according to the rules, they won't come and interfere.
Right.
They'll say, hey, steer clear of this planet. And that's all they need to do to protect it. But it's like Claudius didn't believe that's what they would do.
I hadn't caught that part. I only caught the other end of the leverage. Like, you can't stop us from doing this because of that, but...
You've sworn to die.
Yeah, you have to do what I say, like, kind of thing.
Are they sworn to? I will kill myself before I violate the prime directive.
Well, they established that in the last
die.
couple of episodes, at least.
So, yeah, I mean, honestly, in this, Kirk should have been like, okay, you killed the three of us, Scott, landing party's lost. Yeah. Move on. Yeah. It's our fault we beat down the 3 senior officers again.
Clearly, M5 did not decide the landing party.
No. They would have been like, no Kirk, no Spock, no McCoy. 3 random people in other clothes.
Yes.
Yeah, I just thought about that earlier because of all these things, and especially because I just saw the Omega thing today. It's obviously a plot device for some reason because if they were beaming random people down there, the conflict would be, well, should we leave them or not? Well, I guess we have to leave them.
Right.
Rules say that, but you can't leave the captain there. So.
Well, Scotty's like, we can do, and the order is don't take action. But I'm going to take sneaky action, and that's okay. But no, the order was don't take action. And what is that green alert anyway? Green would be like, everything's fine.
Right.
What did he actually do?
It seems like a weird code.
He cut off the power in the main city. I guess because he had told Chekhov to figure out what the power was and what it would take to overload him.
Yeah.
So I guess he fired phasers at the power grid and shut out power temporarily. Very briefly.
Yeah.
Well, that should scare them.
And it just so happened to be at the exact right moment for Kirk to escape.
One other homoerotic moment is...
one other.
Just one?
Yeah, so I can't remember who brings it over to him. I think it's McCoy brings the magazine over to Kirk and says, I thought you might find this interesting, and it's a guy, a half-naked gladiator on the cover of it.
Well, I think it's just because it's Gladiator in the
I know, but it's just so like, and it lingers once again. It's one of those where it lingers just a second or two longer than it seems like it should.
So the Jupiter 8,
I was about to say,
which is in the magazine, then they reference it later in the episode, like as a commercial in the show. First of all, there's a great pic of Kirk leaning against the Jupiter 8 if you Google the Jupiter 8.
Oh wow!
Because even though he wasn't there when they shot, anyway,
so they made a model of it.
So no, they had to because it was the woman that stood against
That
it.
feels like art
It
or
was
something. I
a
don't know.
custom-made car that was built by Gene Winfield, who made some very unique vehicles for TV and movies.
Oh.
It is a mid-mounted engine and front-wheel drive. It was a variation of a car called the Reactor. And this car, the Jupiter 8, made appearances in Bewitched as Darren's dream car.
Wow.
Was also in Mission Impossible, and it was Catwoman's car in the Batman TV series. I guess they painted it black probably when it was Catwoman's.
I would hope.
So it was they just made a custom body, and it was used in several TV shows, including this one.
That reminds me, I always like when Kirk's in the wraparound shirt.
Yeah, I noted. Why didn't he
It
dress
goes
up for
well
this
with the
mission?
car.
Yeah.
He matches the car.
He's not lounging in his quarters. He's like
No,
actually
yeah.
going down to the surface of the planet. You wouldn't think he would.
Well,
risk
that's
that.
because he had. It's the end of the season.
Yep.
He's got fat. The girdle's not holding it all in
That's
anymore,
right. That's
and
right.
the wraparound's a little looser.
Yep.
Is that real? You think that's the real
Probably.
reason?
I would say there's a decentish chance that's real.
I like when her notes that the message, she's hearing messages with amplitude and frequency modulation.
So, I think that's what disappointed me the most about that ending was Uhura starts talking, and I'm like, oh, she's getting some focus, she's getting some scenes, she's getting explained, and I'm really interested. And then she says what she's going to say, and I'm like, and I completely forgot she even spoke up because I was so frustrated.
Yeah.
What a way to ruin your Uhura moment.
It was disappointing. Oh, one more homoerotic moment
Only one.
is when Kirk says, I'll take it out slowly.
Oh yeah.
Yup. And Claudius was like, whoa! Not really, but
Yeah.
I can see that.
So I had a couple things. First,
Okay.
since you mentioned Claudius again, it seemed like from that one scene where he kicked him out of the room. From then on, it seemed like he was just intent on emasculating Merrick.
Yeah.
And wanting to be Kirk's best friend instead.
And then this stabbed him for some reason, like Claudia.
Well, he stabbed him because Merrick was calling the Enterprise and getting the crew rescued.
Yeah. So I like that Merrick does have that arc where he makes one.
Where he's like, oh, that's what a real man is. I should try to be one.
And then, of course, gets killed instantly.
But he gets stabbed like Caesar, which I thought was interesting.
Like the back.
With the little dagger and
Et tu.
yeah.
March
It was like,
Really
but he
there
didn't,
was this.
didn't even say it.
I do
I
think.
can't believe they didn't say it. I was like, come on, say A2.
I do want to know, Merrick, as much of a wimp as he was, should have been saying 4 to beam up and intending to go with them.
Right.
I don't know why he
No,
only
you're
said
right.
3. Yeah, Logan Ramsey, who played Claudius, has a ton of credits, like 130 some, but other than like
He
4
should.
episodes of Mission Impossible, I don't really see long term. It's a bunch of guest spots.
Oh, is that the guy who played the...
He wasn't Scrooged as Man in Shelter.
Oh, okay.
I liked his performance, actually.
Yeah. And then Merrick was played by William Smithers, who's best known for doing 50 episodes of Dallas.
In The Simpsons.
Oh, yeah.
Septimus was played by Ian Wolfe. They had a lot of great guests. Septimus was the old guy in the caves at the beginning.
Yeah,
Oh,
he's,
right.
he's
was
coming
good.
up in another episode later, too. Season
Yeah, he has 304 acting credits.
yeah, he's been in a lot.
He died in 1992 at the age of 95, but one of his last credits 2 years before he died was Dick Tracy.
Oh, yeah.
He played Forger.
Yeah, I know he's one of 11 Star Trek actors born in the 19th century.
Wow. Yeah, he was really, really old when he died. Yeah, he's Mr. Atos. I love Mr.
Yes.
Atos
Yeah.
in All Our Yesterdays.
Yes.
That's a good third season episode, I think.
I think that's what I thought when I saw that. I'm like,
He's a librarian whose
Yeah.
name is Atos, A2Z.
Oh my god. I wish.
We'll get there.
Maybe I'll forget by then. I feel like I won't.
You can't miss that. That's
Yeah.
just great.
when Spock's listed off, this is another good spot where Spock's
Another
putting the
homoerotic
smackdown.
moment?
No, but he is putting the smackdown on McCoy about he's like, well, they have slavery and gladiators. He's like, well, they're world wars. And then the numbers for the
11
people that
million,
died
Yeah.
whatever,
were off,
37
especially the one for the Third World War.
Yeah, because that was
like
supposed to be like
97
a
million
quarter
or
of the
something
world's
like that.
population
Yeah.
is like 37 million
Yeah.
people. So it
But,
should be like 2 billion people.
Yeah, it seems like they could have done a little, like, just got an Encyclopedia Britannica out on those first two.
Yeah,
And,
but the Third World War, they definitely are consistent with that.
Sure.
I think you said 97 million for that or something.
Even 97 million is not nearly enough because like a quarter of the world's gone. 97 million is not a quarter of the world.
Are you wait? So
The Third World War.
So they mentioned this like some other historical thing within
Oh
Star
yeah,
Trek about
Yeah,
the
he
World
said
War
the
III
three
is
Oh.
throughout Star Trek history. It's in the early 20th century, probably about now in contemporary time.
So they gave
And
numbers
it's-
about
so they
like the
nailed
core
it.
of the world.
The population's all drugged out, opioid crisis, and not the eugenics war, but it kind of stemmed from stuff from the eugenics war in the 90s. And basically nuclear war, and a lot of the population, not all, but a lot were killed. And that's why Zefram Cochrane was building a warp drive in the forest instead of in a city. Because that's the aftermath. Zefram Cochrane lived through World War III.
The part where Merrick's lecturing Kirk about how to run a starship or whatever, I thought that was rich from a guy who couldn't hack it and dropped out.
Yeah.
I thought that was really a bit much. I thought Kirk should have given him a stern tongue lashing.
Stern tongue lashing. Another homoerotic scene.
Yeah, I'm on it.
Gotta note it.
Just one more homoerotic scene.
Back to one of the problems with the episode as far as the Hodgkins thing or whatever. So I noticed that Spock right away caught that they were speaking English, and I wondered how he knew that.
Usually it's the universal translator takes care of that.
But how do you know when they're speaking natural English as opposed to anything else? So I guess I never thought about that. I mean, there must be some artifact or something that maybe they can hear, or there's a delay or something that
probably their no, I think it's the communicator does it. I was gonna say the tricorder, but I think it's the communicator that.
When I say artifact, though, I mean like maybe like some sort of glitch or some imperfection
I see what you're
that
saying.
lets them know that somehow this isn't natural.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
but they never really present that in the shows because they're the actors are always just speaking English. So I don't know.
They really wanted to explain a lot in this episode. The similarities.
What was your alternate episode, Steve?
Mine is that they land during the era of reality television, and so they go to
Big Brother,
or just Survivor. So they have to,
that'd be
so
fun.
the whole crew. So it's
like, oh, these guys are very primitive. They don't have any tools or anything.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden the cameramen come out of the jungle.
right.
Oh, that'd be great.
So
Totally misread the situation.
So it's Kirk and Spock and McCoy, of course, but also like they bring down 4 or 5 human whose uniforms get all tattered and yeah.
Well, I really liked that whole TV production angle. It made jump forward a little bit more in technology than you expected. Like, why do these Romans have Uzis and so forth? But wait a minute, these are TV cameras. They have all the effects. They have an announcer.
I think it was a product of its time where they're like, this one's going to air in color because it's a special.
Yeah, that too.
Like, oh, yeah, because not everything was in color.
I thought that was probably the most clever part of the episode, the TV stuff.
Yeah, agreed.
I'm trying to...
Although, you can't tell me there are real gladiator fights and those fake columns aren't getting knocked over in the background and getting slashed.
They're really heavy. They're
You just use
professionals.
an outside arena. You use an outside arena.
I should have wrote both lines down. There's a line where they say something to Kirk about something like your 20th century television, or it's not as it's like it's barbaric, or is it? And Kirk says
it's primitive by your standards, I guess. Or the TV is primitive
and
by your
Kirk
standards.
says, I heard it was very similar, which is a rip on NBC and the ratings troubles that Star Trek was having.
Nice.
So, yeah.
But I mean, even if I think they were actually kind of being unintentionally accurate in the sense of they could have come along and they were pointing to human history where they still were just developing color television or something.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah.
No, I think they definitely used the cameras and television stuff they had on hand. And that's the other thing, they may not have done the arena outside because location shooting was so expensive back then that they would probably do it on a soundstage because that's the cheaper option.
Yep.
It's funny.
And to your point about black and white, you guys were mentioned, probably the first 5 or 6 years I watched it, half the episodes I watched were on black and white, a little 12-inch black and white TV.
Oh, yeah.
Because every once in a while I get to commandeer the big color TV, but
I think the Cage is the only one I've seen in black and white.
Yeah.
I did have a black and white TV as a child that we watched.
Yeah. My last note was, and I don't think this is homoerotic, but
everything should be prefaced now. There
are 2 different spots in this episode where somebody's recording a captain's log. It's Scotty and Kirk. And then the other person's awkwardly just staring at them. So Scotty's doing it, Chekhov's just staring at him. And then at the end, Kirk's doing it, and Scotty's staring at him awkwardly. And it's just like, don't you guys have something else to do?
Don't record on the bridge. Go to your
Yeah, so agreed.
Just like Cocktail shouldn't be doing. Why did Spock let the fight drag on so long? It looked like you could have stopped it at any time.
Yeah.
If you just
he keeps insisting like, I don't want to hurt you, and it's like, well, okay, do the nerve pinch. You can knock somebody out without killing them.
Well, he knocked the guy out without the nerve pinch.
Right.
Yeah.
Whenever McCoy got in trouble.
Right.
I did like the McCoy Flavius where they're like trying to fight
and doing a terrible job.
And Flavius is like, "Come on, fight back, do something,
fight like a man."
I did like that McCoy got into the fights this time.
Yeah.
Although at the end fight, the final fight, when Kirk and Spock are like holding the ground at the at the door, he just runs back and grabs a mattress and like throws it at a guard instead of fighting. Whereas earlier in the episode, he was going man on man with one of the guards.
Yeah.
But I liked that he grabbed the mattress and threw it. The stack of folded mattresses they were sitting on.
So there was I think my last thing here is just the Merrick's pronunciation of recon as recon. You feel like that's one of those things where the actor wasn't quite familiar with the military lingo of it.
Yeah.
And maybe they tried to tell him once or twice, and it's like still got on the recording, and it was like, screw it, all right, fine.
Back then, they didn't do all those takes. Back then, they didn't do all those takes.
Maybe that was the one good take that he did it wrong, and it's like, oh, we have to keep it. Let's go.
Actually, I think the director or somebody was talking about how much all the other ideas they really had for this episode, and they were like, oh, the fight scenes. That's what it was. They were like, yeah, the fight scenes weren't great. We had all these other ideas for it, and they were just like, we just didn't have time. The schedule was so compressed by then.
It did feel very much like they weren't sure where the episode was going, and they just kind of wrapped it up weirdly and quickly.
And when you were like, yeah, there's 11 minutes left. I'm like, what? No.
Yeah.
Oh,
or 5 minutes left.
Yeah.
How are they going to end this next 5 minutes?
It was very
like that.
Yeah.
Stab.
Yeah.
And then let's talk about Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Praise him. Again, I'm an atheist. I did not like that. Keith, any other notes?
No, nothing. Well, I mean, no, nothing written. Yeah.
So now
nothing homoerotic anyway.
We need to. I was gonna say we need to pick our men or women of Star Trek, and I feel like these need to be homoerotic picks. Are you going for Flavius, Keith?
I'm tempted actually. The shorts kind of.
I know, right?
I appreciate it. Rhodes' reason look good.
I think I'm just gonna have to recommend the shorts to Hedford.
Yeah.
Wait, so you're
I'm getting
merged Hedford in Flavius' shorts?
Yeah, I'm gonna get the catalog from an Elite magazine and point out, hey, you find this interesting.
And
Look at these shorts.
She'd look great leaning against a Jupiter 8 in those shorts.
Uh-huh.
You still are on Kalinda.
I'm sticking with Kalinda.
Yeah, me too. I mean, as much as Flavius was,
Yeah.
I just can't do the homoerotic. Kalinda beats him. Ranking the episode. I mean...
Throat clearing. I liked it more than it should certainly be above the Omega thing that I keep referencing.
Yeah, the Omega Glory is pretty far down.
It's like a better version of that. Although when you really start pulling the threads, it's still gonna go well.
I was gonna say the closest episode we've seen so far this season to this, I feel, is a piece of the action.
Okay, that's another thing.
Another parallel.
Yeah, they kept doing those things, but this is before they started explaining it that way. It was just like.
Yeah.
It just kind of like that. Well, they said the Nazi thing. Somebody brought that down. The other thing was like a manual.
Yeah.
The Nazis was Patterns of Force. That was different.
Yeah.
I think this was earlier in production, but it got aired later.
So
because that's why Sula wasn't around.
It was better or worse than Piece of the Action?
I thought Piece of the Action was fun. I forgot it was that much fun.
Yeah.
So I like that one better, I think.
Oh, totally.
I suppose. I mean, they certainly weren't taking it as seriously.
Oh, no.
And despite the holes in their explanations, at least they attempted something that sounded scientific as far as this is a possible thing.
But Piece of the Action was just more fun,
Right.
I think. Well, what about the Nazi episode? They're not side by side, but they're close enough. Patterns of Force. Is this better than the Nazi episode?
I feel like it was, but who knows?
They did some of the same things with TV and everything.
Yeah.
Did they?
Well, the Nazi thing, there was a TV broadcast.
Oh, that's right. The thing, yeah. This was this is a little bit more clever in my opinion because of the way that they kind of play with at least the audience's expectations for what was happening for the TV broadcast, and it's a soundstage. The little things they were, little behind the scenes things that they were showing.
Yeah, I know I don't like either of that.
And you probably shouldn't, but that's where it gets hard.
I think I like Patterns of Force more. This one wasn't really doing it for me.
Yeah, what's the next one down?
After Patterns of Force?
Yeah.
Which is several down for a Piece of the Action. The Deadly Years.
What was that?
They get old. The disease. Or they get old.
I'm starting to. It's trying to run together with other things, other shows where they do those things.
Yeah, I don't hate this episode, but I don't dig it really either.
No.
What was after Deadly Years?
Going down. Wolf in the Fold. Scotty, Jack the Ripper.
Oh.
This is better than that.
Yeah.
This is better than Wolf in the Fold.
Yeah.
I think I can say that pretty definitively.
I'd hard stop there, I think.
So, below Deadly Years?
For me.
Keith?
Man, probably. I'll have to defer on that one. I don't remember Deadly Years that well right now, but yeah, I mean when I think about it, this one wasn't that great, but I guess I appreciated it in the wake of certain other things they had done before this, where they didn't at least attempt. But
I was gonna put this above Deadly Years, but you want to go below?
I don't. I'm neutral on that one, I would say.
Well, you can't be neutral because Steven wants it below and I want it above, so you have to pick.
Let's go above.
Above Deadly Years.
I feel like this one is going to be more memorable for several reasons.
Well, and it's below Pirates of Force, so
yeah.
We're not too high up. Although, the fact that this is pretty low on the season 2, I mean, this wasn't a bad episode, so I think season 2's not bad.
Yeah.
Season 2's pretty solid. This is way better than Gamesters of Triskelion, which was another Let's Fight.
Yeah. Yeah. Had more going for it.
Anyway, next week, we are at the season finale of season 2.
How is that possible?
Because we've been Actually, we've taken a bunch of big long breaks in December and stuff. But it's a great episode in my memory. Assignment Earth.
Yeah, I like this one.
Well, back in time in Earth 1968.
This is the time they do it right.
Yeah. The Enterprise crew encounters the mysterious Gary 7, who has his own agenda. And he's got his sidekick, Roberta Lincoln, Terry Gar. And there's the cat. The black cat named Isis. And Gary 7 is an alien, a humanoid alien.
Is it Robert Lansing? Is that who plays Gary 7?
Yes, Robert Lansing.
Yeah.
Gary 7, a humanoid alien who has come to Earth to accomplish a mission. Huh. That was the one that was supposed to be the backdoor pilot, the spinoff.
Yeah.
It never happened.
Yeah, it never happened.
Unfortunately. Because I would have totally watched the Gary 7 Roberta Lincoln show.
Yeah.
You would have had to because of the rules now. So.
Robert Lansing, you may know him from Kung Fu: The Legend Continues. He did 24 episodes of that.
You may not.
Wow.
The Equalizer.
I know him from Assignment Earth.
The Equalizer. He actually he's got a decent amount of credits.
Yeah.
But he is Star Trek is what he's second best known for. This one episode.
What's he best known for?
4D Man. 1959 film.
Oh, yeah, I vaguely recall that. I couldn't tell you what it's about, but I know I recognize the name.
I do not, but he's got like some reoccurring roles in some television series that I feel like should have ranked a little higher. Oh well. So we'll do that. Then we'll do some recap episodes, and then we'll take another little hiatus before... we won't. You guys will take another little hiatus for season 3.
Right now, we're going to brush up on our Hodgkin's laws.
Oh my god. No. No. No.
All right, then we're just going to go get some shorts like Flavius had.
And then make out with girls wearing wrapping paper.
Actually, I wouldn't discount that last one.
I would. My wife's not putting that on. Maybe yours.
Probably might.
I was going to say, you'd probably get the best chance.
You just have to write a script for it.
Yeah, all right, yeah. All right, I'm on it.
Okay, live long and prosper.
Bye.
Homoerotically.